Ancient civilizations flourished around the Mediterranean, and merchant trading caused rivalry for dominance of its shores. Initially visiting as traders, the Phoenicians eventually colonized the islands, making use of the numerous harbors. Carthage became the main traders and naval power in the Mediterranean, and Malta played an important role in trade between North Africa and southern Italy. The port became renowned for its textiles, in particular sailcloth, and for the production of honey. In around 535 AD, archaeological evidence indicates that the Byzantines used Malta as a stopover for the empire's navy, as well as for trade activity. The subsequent Arab period in around 870 AD is evidenced by the numerous Semitic place names, for example, Injar, which means loading place. Count Roger the Norman successfully invaded Malta in 1091. When in 1526 Emperor Charles V of Spain offered Malta to the Knights, they reluctantly considered it as a possible alternative to Rhodes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Little Bitsman from Northwest, so don't worry, because we are going to approaching in this area here, because
this is a big World War II bastion.
But for sure,
St. Elmo's.
this Grand Harbour is more interesting.
On 26 October 1530, Grandmaster Lee Ladan and the Knights of the Order of St. John entered the Grand Harbour to continue their mission of helping the sick.
There's the hospital up there with the green shutters.
About these later, but once again, the Knights swiftly turned Malta into an efficient naval base. Churches, palaces, and stores were built in the area known as the Three Cities, which is on your left. In 1557, Jean Parisot de la Valette was elected Grand Master of the Order, and during his tenure, the number of raids on non-Christian shipping escalated.
Yeah, we were right there yesterday.
The Barbary corsairs were proving to be a major threat to the Christian nations of the region. Grand Master La Valette knew that an Ottoman attack was imminent, and with the support of the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor, the islands were prepared for battle.
They take them up because
there's a stairway in there.
Malta is very busy from wind. 70% from the end.
Known as the Great Siege of
May
Malta.
1865.
The Ottoman fighters are said to have numbered over 40,000, including their elite units of professional soldiers and mercenaries.
This is a fish market today.
The Knights and the Maltese, numbering a mere 9,000, put up an incredibly defiant fight under extremely difficult conditions. While the Knights' stronghold was at Fort St. Angelo on your left, the Ottoman fighters set up camp on the ridge to your right. Winter was quickly approaching. Supplies were getting dangerously low, but what really determined the outcome of this siege was the arrival of the long-awaited Catholic reinforcements. Victory for the Knights was declared on 8th September, an important feast day on the island, which commemorates the birth of the Virgin Mary. Once the celebrations were over, the Grand Master quickly embarked on a number of ambitious projects to further fortify the harbour area, ever fearful of a retaliation by the Ottoman Empire. The next landmark on your right is the elegant church of Lys. In those days, the only entrance into Valetta was from this point, and all the galleys would have
We got a ticket. We can take that elevator.
The city was built
There it
according to
goes.
the design of Francesco Laparelli, and included fortifications, watchtowers, wells, and windmills. By the end of the 18th century, following more than 200 years of continual building activity, the Hospitaller Knights had created a vast network of stone fortifications around the harbour area, which was transformed into one fortress, with the city of Valetta in its centre. On the pretext of requiring water and supplies, Napoleon sailed to Malta on board his flagship, L'Orient. The once mighty order put up little resistance, and Napoleon became master of the island. In just a few days, he reorganized the legal system on the lines of a republic, made significant changes to the educational system, and took a large quantity of treasures from palaces and churches before setting sail for Egypt.
2 years later, Nelson took over here in Malta and said the Brits wouldn't give it up.
When the islands were taken over by the British, located at the heart of all offshore oil and gas activity in the region, and is within a short distance from major offshore platforms.
Especially Nick, from my opinion, because you have any air and an eye. that, from my opinion, to recognize the watchman, what is his work, undeniable.
Number 1. Originally constructed by the Knights as a slipway. This was also the first dock to be built by the British Navy in the 1840s. In the Grand Harbour you will also see a number of typical Maltese boats. There are ones which resemble the Venetian gondola, and some also function as water taxis. From the marina of galleons, warships and a dockyard, it has developed into a yacht marina mainly for larger yachts.
Over here. So now we are going to continue approaching slowly to see the best views that we have in the area. Those over there, this is Maltese resident people for the story. So now we are going to turn the boat and we are going to talk about Victoriosa. That is the place, exactly the place where that is the dock number 1, The dock number 1, it is over there. Yes, it is the bigger one, and it is the dock number 1. We are going to find in Victoriosa that famous monument when the British people, they finished their contracts from Malta. Of the monument, you can do this, because I know that you are interested in the story of Malta.
It's a cathedral area before they built St. John's in Valetta. You can see the sailboats here, certainly not shabby, but smaller than those last few.
In front of the church is a monument to commemorate the termination of the military contract, which existed between Malta and the United Kingdom. This was on the 31st March 1979.
We call it, when out those two flags, that we call it Fort St. Angelo. Fort St. Angelo, it was a headquarters.
This is San Angelo.
And, I just want to let you know that one of the flag, it is the flag of Malta, and the other one, it is the flag of the Knights of St. John. It was a headquarters. That is name, it is Fort St. Angelo. Let's see now what his...
On this ship is Plan B.
Archaeological evidence indicates that since prehistoric times, this ridge to your right has always been an important site. It is traditionally held that the first settlers to the islands built temples in honor of their gods here. According to legend, this fort is built on the site of a fortified Roman settlement. Strengthened by the Arabs, the Normans and the Spaniards, Fort St. Angelo immediately became the headquarters of the Order of St. John. The castle was first referred to as Castrum Maris. After considerable modifications over the years, it became known as Fort St. Angelo. In 16...
This was the head of the British Navy here until independence in 1973. Lord Mountbatten was here for a time.
32. The ditch had been completely excavated. Most of its bastions are carved out of solid rock, and beyond the gate is the main piazza with the surrounding barracks. Leading up to the beautiful Baroque gateway are some very low steps designed for the knights with their cumbersome suits of armour. These can also be found in our capital city, Valetta. The British used the fort throughout the 19th century and the early 20th century. During World War II, Fort Manuel received some direct hits that caused some very serious damage. The chapel was also badly damaged. These events ushered in a long period of abandonment and neglect, which accelerated the cycle of decay.
It was a quarantine hospital. It's a good place for diving. Over here is our hotel.
But this is an interesting story too about this building. It was a quarantine hospital.
More fortifications out here beyond Valetta. This is beyond our hotel.